The massive python's coils tightened around the tiny lion cub like a living nightmare. 20 feet of pure muscle squeezing the life out of something so small, so defenseless. The cub's desperate whimpers echoed across the African savanna as those deadly coils constricted tighter and tighter. But what happened in the next 60 seconds would defy everything we thought we knew about predator and prey. This isn't just another nature documentary moment. This is a story that will restore your faith in the impossible. Stay with me, because what you're about to witness will leave you speechless. Our story begins 3 months ago, when a lioness named Amara gave birth to her first litter. Like many new mothers in the wild, she was inexperienced but fiercely protective. Her cubs, 3 tiny bundles of golden fur, represented not just her legacy, but the future of her pride. The smallest of these cubs, the one we'll call Kessie, which means born during difficult times in Swahili, was always the adventurous one. While his siblings stayed close to their mother, Kessie would wander just a little too far, curiosity burning brighter than caution in those amber eyes. The Serengeti can be unforgiving to the curious. On this particular morning, as the first rays of sunlight painted the acacia trees gold, Amara had led her cubs to a watering hole about half a mile from their den. The dry season was reaching its peak, and water was becoming scarce. Every animal in a 50-mile radius knew about this particular oasis, including the predators. Hidden beneath the surface of the muddy water, coiled among the reeds like a living nightmare, lay one of Africa's most feared hunters. A 20-foot African rock python. We'll call him Django, meaning to build, because that's exactly what pythons do. They build pressure, build fear, build an inescapable trap of muscle and determination. Django hadn't eaten in 6 weeks. For a python his size, that meant he was desperately hungry. And when a python gets desperate, it becomes bold, dangerously bold. As Amara cautiously approached the watering edge, scanning for crocodiles and other threats, her cubs bounded playfully behind her. Lions may be apex predators, but lionesses know that vigilance is the price of survival. She checked left, she checked right, she even checked the trees for leopards. But she didn't check the water carefully enough. Little Kessie, true to his adventurous nature, was the first to reach the water's edge. As he lowered his tiny muzzle to drink, Django struck with lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, those powerful coils erupted from the murky water like a nightmare come to life. The attack was swift, calculated, and terrifying. Django's massive head clamped down on Kessie's shoulder, and immediately those muscular coils began to wrap around his small body. This is how pythons hunt. They don't kill with venom like their serpent cousins. They kill with patience, pressure, and an unbreakable grip. Kessie's cries pierced the morning air, high-pitched, desperate, heartbreaking. It was a sound that would haunt anyone who heard it. Amara spun around, her maternal instincts exploding into overdrive. But here's what makes this moment so tragic. Pythons are incredibly difficult opponents, even for lionesses. Their bodies are pure muscle, their grip is unbreakable, and they have no vital points that a lioness can easily attack. What followed was 3 minutes of the most intense struggle you could imagine. Amara launched herself at the massive snake, her claws raking across its thick scales. But pythons have been perfecting their killing technique for millions of years. Django simply tightened his coils and pulled deeper into the reeds, using the water to his advantage. Kessie was disappearing before his mother's eyes. The other cubs watched in terror from the shoreline, their tiny voices adding to the chaos. Every second that passed meant the coils grew tighter around Kessie's small chest. Every breath became harder, every heartbeat more precious. Amara was fighting against time itself. She bit at the python's head, but the snake's skull is incredibly thick and strong. She clawed at the coils, but they were like steel cables covered in armor. Desperation drove her to leap fully into the water, something lions rarely do. But even there, the python had the advantage. This is where most nature stories would end. The circle of life, as brutal as it is natural, claiming another victim. Just as Kessie's struggles were growing weaker, just as those deadly coils seemed to be winning, something extraordinary appeared on the scene. The rest of Amara's pride. 2 adult males and another lioness, drawn by the commotion, came crashing through the underbrush. But here's what makes this moment so special. Lions don't usually work together to fight pythons. It's typically every cat for itself. Not today. The first male, a magnificent creature with a dark mane, didn't hesitate. He dove into the water and grabbed the python's tail, pulling with all his strength. The second male attacked the middle of the snake's body, while the other lioness joined Amara in protecting Kessie's head and shoulders. What unfolded next was the most incredible display of teamwork I've ever witnessed in the animal kingdom. 4 lions, working in perfect coordination, began to literally unravel the python's death grip. The key moment came when the first male managed to pin down Django's head, forcing the snake to release its bite on little Kessie. The moment that crushing jaw pressure disappeared, the cub drew his first full breath in nearly 4 minutes. But the coils were still tight. This is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Instead of panicking, instead of each lion fighting independently, they seemed to understand exactly what needed to happen. Working together, they began to systematically loosen each coil, starting from the tail and working towards Kessie's body. The python, now fighting for its own survival against 4 apex predators, finally made the decision that would save everyone. It let go. The python slithered away into the deeper reeds, defeated but alive. And there, gasping and shaking, but miraculously unharmed, lay little Kessie. The first thing Kessie did when he could breathe properly was call for his mother. The sound was weak, but it was the most beautiful sound Amara had ever heard. She immediately began grooming him, checking every inch of his small body for injuries. Incredibly, apart from some minor scratches and bruises, Kessie was completely unharmed. The python's coils had been tight, but not tight enough for long enough to cause permanent damage. Sometimes in nature, timing really is everything. The pride stayed by the water for another hour, not to drink, but to make sure the python was truly gone. The males patrolled the perimeter, while Amara kept her cubs close, closer than she had ever kept them before. What makes this story so remarkable isn't just the successful rescue, it's what it teaches us about family, cooperation, and the power of never giving up. In a world where we often see nature as brutal and unforgiving, this moment reminds us that love and loyalty exist in the animal kingdom just as powerfully as they do in our own lives. Amara could have fled when the python attacked. Self-preservation is a powerful instinct, but she chose to fight. The pride could have watched from a safe distance, but they chose to help. 3 months later, Kessie is thriving. He's grown into a strong, healthy young lion, though wildlife researchers say he's become notably less adventurous around water sources. Some lessons, it seems, stick with us forever. The python, Django, was spotted again several weeks later, none the worse for his encounter with the lion pride. In the wild, both predator and prey live to fight another day, and that's exactly how it should be. Amara has become something of a legend among the local Maasai guides who now refer to her as Mama Shuja, meaning Hero Mother. Her story has spread throughout the region, inspiring wildlife conservation efforts and reminding everyone that the bond between parent and child transcends species. This incredible story was captured by wildlife photographer David Kamani, whose patience and skill brought us these unforgettable moments. It serves as a powerful reminder that even in the harshest environments, hope and love can triumph over seemingly impossible odds. Every day, stories like this unfold across our planet's wildest places. Stories of courage, family, and the unbreakable bonds that connect all living things. But these stories, and the animals that live them, need our